Right. Let me get my cup of tea. I'll be right there. Ah! Oh, God. Good. My legs. Ugh. Oh. My God. I am unfit, but beautiful. Right. Turn this down a bit. Let's bring this microphone closer to my face a bit. Let's click on maybe this button. Is that good? Is that you can see behind the wizard's curtain? No! Is that good? Cool. Perfect. How is everyone doing today? I hope you're doing well. If you'd like to ask a question about anything, whether it be about me, or CitizenCon, or Star Citizen, or mental health, or, I don't know, love advice, feel free to put a question in brackets. It will make me be able to pick it out. Bad Max, good effort for being first to chat. I'm already 10 minutes behind in chat because, you know, it's the intro. So, there's a free flight on at the moment. For people that are unaware, if you go on the RSI website, whether you've got an account or not, there's a free flight section. And you can put the code in there. Let me show you. Let me show you. I'm not sure why I've got a low hum to my voice, but today I do. Desktop. Got the FreeFly section, so create an account, and then go to FreeFly, and then whether you've got an account that's a new account or an old account or whatever account, put the code in, bam, bam, apply code, and then you've got access to 5 ships. If it's a new account and you don't even have a game package, you can do that and you can get access to Star Citizen for the rest of the week. So, give it a go, try out the ships, try out Star Citizen, bam. Now's a good time to give it a bit of a mess around, eh? Right? Because why not? Me and Salty Mike, or the artist previously known as Twerk, are doing a gameplay series at the moment, in parallel and then together. So, I've done the first episode. It's just sort of unfiltered gameplay and chatting. The next episode you'll see tomorrow, and it will be of me doing more combat-y things, bounty hunting, that sort of stuff. And then the third episode is going to be me and Salty Mike together, starting doing stuff together in the verse. I did see that Kingdom Come Deliverance released their mod tools. I'm hoping that one day we have that for Star Citizen. That's one of the things that they said they were going to have, private servers and modding tools. I would suspect they will allow that, but when is the thing? Could it be, you know, is it going to be in 5 years? Is it going to be in 10 years? So there's a lot of stuff that with Star Citizen that you can go, will they have this? Well, yeah, probably. The wildest fantasies can come true in Star Citizen at some point, or at least feature-wise. So bear that in mind. I am very excited for CitizenCon. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. It's certainly going to be almost certainly going to be the event of the year. For me, it certainly is. I'm hoping that we see a lot of cool stuff, new ships as well. I mean, obviously, especially with them putting CitizenCon at the same date as their anniversary sale stuff, it is going to be quite sales-centric. Just be aware of that. I know a lot of people will be like, oh my god, they're selling new ships. I'm not sure I'm doing a silly voice, because people can talk however the fuck they want. And they're allowed to have that opinion. But a lot of people say that. But, I mean, it's part of the model. It's part and parcel of Star Citizen. They're going to sell ships. At least until the game is fully released, which could be in many, many years' time. Hey, Raging Sage, thank you very much for the resub. Very much appreciated. So, I'm going to CitizenCon this year. I'm going down the day before. I'm going there as part of the press. And I'm looking forward to being able to see what's on offer there. I think it's going to probably be the biggest and best CitizenCon yet. Or at least best. Maybe not biggest. Last year's was pretty big. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's a load of cool stuff going on there. I'm looking forward to meeting people if you guys are going down. Don't know who's going down, but I'll be around, and I'll be available to chat to and drink with. It is a big social for me as well. So, what have we got? What have we got? Lots of people messaging me. Happy Halloween indeed. 3.7.1 been treating me well. That's good to hear. I know there's a load of new players testing out Star Citizen on the FreeFly. I'm away for tomorrow until next Friday. So there's going to be disruption on my channel. I'm sort of on holiday. So tomorrow there's a board game convention I want to go to, and then I'll get back on Sunday. I'll do as much work as I can and get us ready for as many videos as I can throughout the week. And then on Monday, I'm off to Nottingham, and I'm on holiday until Friday. That's something we call private LAN with me and my mega closest friends. And we literally have a private LAN party. Are you planning on getting the RTX 3080 Ti? Is there... What? 3080s? Is that a thing? Or is that just you made up or you assumed? Oh shit, it's a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought you're taking the piss. The GeForce RTX 3080 Ti, more VRAM, way faster and cheaper. Okay. Yeah, I'll grab an RTX 3080 Ti. For me, I might as well have the top-end hardware, because I can, you know, spend it from business point of view. I go, oh, I'll get tax back on that, effectively, so might as well have the best I can have, as long as it provides any form of advantage for recording or encoding, speed up stuff, all that sort of jazz. It'll give me frame rate bonuses, probably. I am planning to play Legends of Runeterra on stream semi-regularly, probably. I love card games. People don't know, I quite like board games. I'm a big board game fan. BoredGamer was originally going to have board games on it as part of its thing. Well, originally BoredGame wasn't going to be Star Citizen at all until I discovered it, like 2 years into what I was doing. So, but I love card games, and I really enjoyed Artifact, but no one else seemed to. Or there was problems with it or whatever. I was a little bit too late for Hearthstone, because lots of other people were doing it much better than I could. But Legends of Runeterra actually looks like quite a good card game. I've played a little bit of it already. And I quite like making decks. And something beyond just Star Citizen chilling out with and chatting with. I'll be doing that on Twitch streams. But people can ask Star Citizen questions when I do that. I'll see if it works, see if it's interesting on stream. Maybe it's not. EMPs are in-game right now, but they don't work as intended. What do you think the big anvil ship will be at CitizenCon? We don't know for sure there's a big anvil ship. It's just very likely. We are suspecting to see the Anvil Carrack and the Anvil Pisces, which is the snub for the Carrack. I would suspect to see some form of corvette or larger anvil ship. It could be... It doesn't necessarily have to be a combat ship or something. But it could be a straight combat, gunship sort of corvette. It could be a who knows, a ground combat based one, that's sort of like it's supposed to land, and tanks come off. It could be lots of different things. It could be a drone corvette. It could be a battle cruiser. It could be a big carrier like the Kraken. I don't actually know, and I don't have any inkling really. I could do a video listing expectations for CitizenCon again, an updated one, but I don't want to flog a dead horse. Or flog a horse at all, really. Or be around horses. Although they're beautiful creatures. What are we talking about? Star Citizen will scale much better to hardware going forward. You don't need that many CPU cores at the moment. Although it will scale to more CPU cores, so it will make more use of multi-threaded cores. But if you've got powerful cores, it shouldn't matter anyway. But GPU-wise, Star Citizen should make use of your GPU, and especially with Vulkan support and any other sort of tech they put in the future. Ray tracing, they've basically said a little while ago, they would consider it in the future if it was sensible. but it doesn't look like it's sensible for them at the moment. Will there be jump points at CitizenCon? Yes, no, why? Probably. I would expect to see a jump point. CitizenCon is very focused on its like blurbs and info blurbs and sort of like its teasers on exploration. And we've sort of like know from some leaks that they've probably got the Pyro system, maybe the Nyx system, the Karak, the Pisces, all this sort of stuff. So I would expect to see a jump point from the Stanton system to the Pyro system, maybe to the Nyx system as well, and traversing off that. Oh, thank you very much. Good to see you, Floorboard. Good to see you, JBird Max. Thank you for all the love from everyone. Hello, Stim Citizen. I think they will release a new ship outside the roadmap at the conference. Yeah, it's possible that they might actually release some stuff straight to flyable at CitizenCon. That is a certain possibility. Certainly a possibility. That is possible. They are looking to... I would expect to see a mixture of straight-to-flyable and drivable vehicles and a concept ship or two. It's because they're sort of like merging CitizenCon with the anniversary sale that makes me think there's quite a lot going on with that. Will my progress be saved when the game ships if I start playing an alpha? Not currently. So every 3 months, typically, there's a wipe. They want to move on to persistence for Alpha UEC, so in-game currency and in-game purchases in the near future. Potentially for the next major patch, we might, at the 3.8 onwards, we might see that, or if not, soon afterwards. But there'll still be wipes until they start using UEC. So they've got Alpha UEC, which is the alpha get version of the currency, and then when they start using UEC as the full game currency, that will all be persistent sort of progress, and that should carry on into the full game as well. Hi, does the NPC players you get with having the game package still work? What? Do you get... Okay, we don't know, and I would not expect you to get free NPCs if you've got extra game packages on your account, just because they haven't talked about it for a while. Maybe you will, and maybe it's something they will address. I don't think they've thought about that for a long time, and I don't think it's a priority, nor do I think they'd care if they can get away with not doing it. So there was lots of talks about if I have multiple game packages, can I have multiple characters on my account? Can I use those characters as NPCs on my account? Things like that have been talked about previously, but at the moment really remain unconfirmed. Is there a way to avoid the advocacy when hauling illegal contraband and being interdicted? So, yeah, if you speed away from them after you get interdicted, you can avoid the cargo being seized. If you turn off your quantum drive or power on your ship as you're getting interdicted just before you come out of interdiction, you can sometimes avoid them as well. If you attack them, again, that avoids them automatically taking your cargo. You can literally chuck the illegal contraband out of your ship, or hold on to it. I think it actually works. But you can have it not in the cargo grid, and they won't take it. It's only when it's detected in the cargo grid, I believe. So sort of bear that in mind, and that will change in the future the way that this is handled anyway. So the current method of being interdicted by advocacy and then automatically taking cargo if you're detected with it while they're scanning you will change in the future to be more sort of like, won't automatically take it out of your cargo hold, basically. I just googled the NVIDIA RTX 3080 and 3080 Ti's. It was released yesterday, a lot of information on them. Do joysticks work with Shadow? Yes, you can get USB devices working with them. Originally, when I tried it a while ago, it was really fiddly. And I don't know if the success rate of getting every USB device to work with Shadow. There are options with it, so that you can say, these are USB devices connected to my PC, I want them to be connected to my Shadow PC. And it emulates them or gets them working with it in some way. Am I excited for Artifact 2.0? I will definitely be looking at the re-release of Artifact next year. Thank you very much for the hat tip, Curveball. Thank you very much, Henley. You're a beautiful potato board. Thanks for all the great videos. Well, thank you very much for the potato money. Have you, Bob? You've only just followed me, you monster. Have you, Bob, very involved with Star Citizen leaks? Has there been any real solid thing shown on Titan suits other than the art? No. Just the art and them talking about Titan suits and the original concepts. Well, the original white boxed in-game tests had them as having size 1 weapons for arms, but they were far too large and couldn't turn and things like that. So they sort of like had a size 1 or 2 weapon being held by 2 hands and a bit more moddable as suits. They are supposed to be scheduled to be finished Q4 of this year for Squadron 42's needs. I'm hoping we see them at CitizenCon. Might be too early for them though. What are the chances that we see more than 2 systems at CitizenCon? Well, possibly. I mean, they could show a trailer of stuff. They could move between multiple systems, going to another area. I mean, it depends. I wouldn't expect to see fully fleshed out systems with loads of landing zones and stuff, but they could certainly fake a huge amount of systems if they wanted to at CitizenCon. They do like 5 systems and have you travelling between them, but then you'd just be travelling between them and saying, oh, there's a planet over there. You can't really go to it or see it. Things like that. All they really need to do is have a jump point showing a system or 2 systems and some new planets or biomes and a new station or landing zone, something like that. New mission types. Any news on new ships that are coming out the size of Freelancer or Cutlass? Not that we're aware of at the moment. Nothing new. But obviously is very likely to have some new stuff at CitizenCon. Will you be voting in the general election on the 12th of December? Yes, I will. I will fully look into the manifestos of parties. I won't vote tactically. I'll vote with whatever is sensible for my short and long-term future. What I think is the correct course of action. But I probably won't talk to people about what I vote, because, you know, what I can't stand with politics, and I can't stand with Brexit and stuff, is the polarisation. I can't stand that with any sort of people's ideas. I'd rather expose stupidity, expose ideas, and allow people to talk about their ideas and be de-radicalised or see another point of view, rather than challenge them aggressively or say they're wrong. I think there's another way with a lot of this stuff. But it's Halloween and I'm digging your Bruce Willis cosplay from Die Hard. Thanks, mate. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. What, you fucker. Wow. Thanks. I think he's more clean-shaven than... if you had... That's such a Christmas movie as well. If you had to choose between the Arrow and the Gladius, which would it be and why? Okay, so I haven't run the Arrow through its paces enough since its nerf, because it lost one of its shield generators. However, I do love the look of the Arrow, and the way the Arrow flies, and the idea behind the Arrow. It's more modernised than the Gladius. The Gladius is going to be more tanky, the Arrow is going to be sort of like more up-to-date, slightly faster, more manoeuvrable is the idea. Eventually, at least. So. I appreciate you trying to press gang people into liking my videos. Careful. Appreciate it. Good man. CitizenCon, the new Disneyland for grown-ups. Disneyland's Disneyland for grown-ups. Okay? I can go if I want. Be disappointed by Star Wars franchises. Boom. Yeah, I'm very excited for CitizenCon. You think they will bring the weather effects in game 2? Yes. They want to do dynamic weather. I mean, they're working with... It looks like they're working with My Radar, who make a weather app, to do some stuff in-game or externally to in-game, or be able to potentially register weather in the future or something like that. That's what it looks like to me. At the moment, My Radar have like some of the planets and moons of Star Citizen, and then you can even put markers and save locational data on the My Radar app. So I'm assuming that CIG are going to have quite an in-depth weather system. They've been working on dynamic weather on and off for a while. I suspect the first weather we see will be more environmental, scripted weather rather than dynamic. But I do think they want to go for a more dynamic approach eventually. You recently stated that CIG gave away some ships to content creators as giveaway items. You said that you did not partake of this because you didn't want to be called a shill, nor take items from backer funding. Does it make sense that digital items are not coming from backer funding, and since it's going to be given away, you couldn't be a shill? That is a very good argument, and I would agree with you. Okay, thinking about it, them giving me a free ship from because no one's paying for it. It's digital. It's straight from them. I should have probably taken that. However, it is a slippery slope. When you start taking stuff from something you are covering, then there is a slippery slope of you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. You don't want to start saying stuff that might get you out of their good books, and that sort of stuff. Now, every opportunity I will review. I'm never going to rule something out. But I want to be fully transparent about it in every way, shape, or form. I think my channel does quite well out of transparency. If I'm shilling for something, I'll say I'm shilling for it. If I've got given something, I will say I've been given something. If I'm uncomfortable at something, I will say that. That's why I hate being a Nuvocati member. There's stuff specifically to gameplay that I can't say, and I want to be able to talk about the patches and the leaks, to be honest. But being NDA'd for Evocati tests is annoying. So, yeah. I see what you're saying, though. I'm technically not taking money from backer money if I accept digital ships for giveaways from CIG. I agree with you. However, it's a slippery slope. But in the future, when they've released a game and stuff, I'll be much more willing. And people are like, oh, actually, yeah, he's a shill. He's been covering Star Citizen for years. He clearly loves it, and he's got an interest in this game succeeding because that gets him more views or whatever. It doesn't matter that he's a shill. I don't know. I'll review stuff in the future. But at the moment, I'm going to be relatively honourable to that. Sort of like, I think that's the good call. I think just at the moment, don't take stuff, but review every opportunity as available. Because I might be like, £100,000. £100,000, and all you got to do is say you love Star Citizen. I'm like, yeah, I fucking do that. I fucking do that. Say I'm taking a load of money to say I love Star Citizen. But that is not what's happened yet. No money has been offered. I wouldn't. Yeah. Transparency. I think transparency is the better way to go. And review your stuff in the future, because there might be amazing stuff they do in the future for content creators, and I'd be stupid not to do it. But I'll always talk about it. Has there been any update on drone gameplay and ship-to-ship rearm, repair, and refuel? Not really. They've been building some of the prerequisite systems for that. Some stuff for AI, some of the stuff towards ship-to-station docking, ship-to-ship docking, refining the way that rearm, repair, and refuel works. It needs a load of physics tech coming in there as well. So that they're building towards it, but there's no sort of like, these are when these features are coming in yet. I would expect to see drones next year, though. As rearm, repair, and refuel, refuel from ship to ship, I would expect to see next year as well. I suppose once they do it, they can do all the drones next year, to be honest. Will there be space weather in Star Citizen? There will be environmental effects in space, yes. Some of the cloud tech that they've been building for like the coil and stuff, that is literally an example of it. You can see sort of like in the background video as well occasionally. Do you have any idea of any concept ships being announced at CitizenCon? We know there's going to be multiple ships or vehicles. So, we suspect. So let me bring this up. So one of the panels there is learn about the new ships of CitizenCon and help the team design a future vessel. There's an event attendees special thing going on. So we're expecting multiple ships. It's sponsored by Anvil, the event, Anvil Aerospace. It's the Intergalactic Expo and CitizenCon together. So there's typically an alien ship, and then some other ships. We had we might see some vehicles as well, but it suggests just ships. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be a large Anvil ship that will also go on sale, because that's what they've done every year. They've had a large ship go on sale every year. Got the Kraken last year, for example. So we might see like an Anvil Corvette or Battlecruiser or Carrier or something like that. Why did CIG release misleading statistics about the game and say it was about transparency? Data from Janta Ock doesn't split between their prior flight model changes and post. Doesn't show Olisar as a visited location. Yeah, so it's not misleading data in the fact that anything, any form of statistics that you make into an infographic or present to people is misleading. And I'll stand by that in 99% of cases. I'm sure there's a way of doing it entirely objectively. But all statistics are fucking bullshit. It was just a nice, pretty infographic for extra information. It's not really influencing anyone beyond, like, the arrow has the highest confirmed kill count. So I'll show you this infographic. Let's bring it up on the screen. But I think they just wanted to make a pretty nice infographic. Yes, it's not going to be 100% accurate because it doesn't give us the full context of the data. Well, it might be accurate, but it's not in context. That's probably a good way of saying it. But I agree with you on the point that it's infographic V9. Here it is. Nice. So let's bring this up. So this is the infographic that Heavy Bob's talking about. So that they've got between January and October, in general, sort of like stats all put together, but it's not in context of 3.6, 3.7, or 3.5, 3.6, 1.7 or anything. It's just all plonked together with over 1,000 years of game time has been played, and a percentage time in locations, which is weird the way they've got it sort of like broken down. Because, yeah, no Paul Olisar there. Seems weird. No Crusader here. So that just seems odd. Maybe it's because the amount of time... what I'd expect is the amount of time spent at Port Olisar is like 98% if they included it. And then all the others would be like little slivers, like point fractions of percent. That's probably why they've done it. Although I would have had another thing saying Port Olisar was 18 times longer than all of the other ones put together, or something like that. Let me link this as well for you guys. Sorry. There you go. So we've also got the Aurora being the most flown ship, and then the Cutlass, and then the Constellation Andromeda, and the Avenger Titan, and the Anvil Hornet. I would have thought the Mustang would have been reasonably high up in there, but I suppose a load of people had Auroras, and the Mustang's relatively new comparison. Lots of PvE kills versus PvP kills. Most lethal FPS weapons, the P4AR, which I actually use quite a lot. And then the most deadly ships, so the ones that have got the most kills. So the Arrow is 1.5 mil, and then the Cutlass Black, that's just the, you know, they're the most used, I suppose, so for combat. Surprised the Aurora hasn't got a load, to be honest. Yeah, they're misleading. The statistics are misleading in pretty much every situation. They are there to either show an agenda or to push a particular thing. In this case, I think they're just plonked together to be cool looking. So there's nothing untoward about that. It's just, you know, not going to be accurate or in context. What else have we got? Are we getting expos in-game again at CitizenCon? So we're getting a load of panels. So these are the panels. Let me link you here. Well, that's not too loud as well. So that's the CitizenCon schedule. So the idea is that it'll start. There'll be a short keynote, sort of like what this year's CitizenCon is all about presentation from Chris Roberts, probably announcing new ships and stuff, and some other cool little bits, before then moving on to lots of different panels across 2 stages. So like an hour, every hour, new panel on the main stage, and again on the second stage, the same thing going on, going through a lot of different stuff, including a new high-octane game mode coming to Star Citizen, Prison gameplay, Terra Firma, so looking at the planetary tech and updates there, the new microtech landing zone and planet, lots of other stuff like that. There's Hexapeel, the back-end tools that allow them to edit the game. They're talking about, it's got Tony Zurovic doing that, so it's going to be huge amounts about simulation and economy and stuff like that. I would expect dynamic mission systems, things like that. Really cool. If you're going to watch anything at CitizenCon, you'll want to watch anything by Tony Zurovic And at the end of the day, the adventure continues. The closing keynote, which looks to be an hour and a half long, and is where I would expect they will do most of the call. So if there's any like Squadron 42 new vertical slices or trailers, if there's any new gameplay they want to show, which I suspect they'll show jump points and new systems, the Carrack and stuff like that, that will be probably at the end. Although they might show something at the beginning as well, something little quickly. Half an hour you can't fit much in. So bear that in mind. It will be streamed as well, so you can watch it live on Twitch. What do we got? What do we got? Let's go back to where we were. Where are we? Bear with me 1 second. Sorry, guys. I got entirely lost on this list. Concept ships at CitizenCon, misleading statistics. When is CIG going to make repair refueling actually viable versus reclaiming a ship? Well, at the moment it's 100% worth reclaiming a ship over refueling and repairing. I don't know when. Probably when they start to make the economy and insurance stuff more important. Probably closer to like... I mean, in 3.8 I'm hoping they have more persistency type stuff. So... I don't know. But at the moment, yeah, it's just more viable for you to reclaim your ship because it's more sensible because it saves you money. Although spending money is also not important either because when you spend money, it gets deleted and reset every 3 months anyway, at least every 3 months. Often, a lot more often than that. CIG should sell us the ability to add another avatar to our accounts. There probably will be more character slots on your accounts in the future. We don't know that for sure, but this is sort of like expected, just because, you know, that's probably what you'd want in an MMO anyway. You could just buy another account. Follow-up question. The Vulcan was advertised as a limited time ship. Could we see it up for sale again come the anniversary sale? Yes. I think almost every ship will be on sale in the anniversary sale. I would expect the Vulcan there as well. The ships like the Saber Raven and the Mustang Mega concept, some of the weird promotional ships, and those are the only ones that probably won't. Thank you very much for the 1,000 bits, Eric. Very much appreciated. I will bathe in them. I will rub them in my face. I was just going to throw a load of actual coins into my face then. I thought that might actually hurt. I'll know what I do. I'll jingle some tiny keys at you. That's a pleasing sound. Thanks for the bits. Who fucking knows what's going on me? I don't. Anvil sponsored events. We have too many Anvil ships already. You've actually said shops, but ships, I know what you mean. Maybe it's just to highlight the Carrack. That is possible. It could be the Carrack and the Pisces they're highlighting. And there might be other concept ships and things not Anvil related. And I would expect ships that are not Anvil related to go on concept and to be released at the same time. But I would also potentially expect a large Anvil ship, just because of historically, that's the sort of stuff they do at the anniversary sale and CitizenCon. Just a thought, I can almost see CIG wanting a slightly more arcade experience in the flight model for Squadron 42. Yeah, Star Citizen was going really hard sim originally in its original pitch, and then they realised that really to have the sort of like, well, it was going reasonably sim in its pitch, and they went, well, we want to have it wing commandery and a bit arcadey as well, and then they've sort of like had these two competing ideas for flight model fighting each other, and they haven't really decided properly on either one. However, fun and arcade will almost certainly trump sim, in my opinion, when it comes to mainstreaming the game. So sort of bear that in mind. That's my expectation of that. There will be some sim elements, there will be some physics in the flight model, but it is going to be more arcade and more fun and more gameplay based than real. Heavy Bob does not like the infographic. Why do you think CIG are not going to show concurrent players in their own statistics? So I will ask them for concurrent players. According to refunds, it's closer to 1,200 concurrent player. What? You think it's 1,200 concurrent players? According to refunds or the refund sub? Like, I would expect it to be significantly higher than that. But I don't know numbers for sure. So I will ask CIG, give me concurrent player numbers, because is there a MISC freelancer? I'd really like to see concurrent player numbers and peak player numbers and averages and low points. Yeah. Is there a MISC freelancer rework coming? There is no personal weapon storage, and if fully loaded, you can't get to the left side in the back bay, keeping you from repairs. Expect tweaks for the freelancer, but I wouldn't expect a full rework. Artist Eclipse, consider this me buying you a pint during CitizenCon. Thank you very much. I will consider it, and I will fucking drink it. Thank you, appreciate it. Are you ready for the carrot? Yes, Kyle, I'm ready for the carrot. Well, no, I'm not. I'm ready for when it comes out of CitizenCon. Because I basically am on holiday from tomorrow until next Friday. Although I will be getting some videos pre-planned and ready to go out throughout the week while I'm away. So it's not going to be like 7 days of disruption. It'll be like 3 days of disruption. Do you think the recreational features of ships such as the A90 jump will ever get added functionality apart from the roleplay implications? Yes, I think they'll get missions associated with them, and I think they'll be able to do other stuff beyond just being expensive and pretty. But mission-based stuff, yeah, for sure. VIP transport and things like that. I think that's the sort of gameplay plans they've got for them. Infographics are a nice way of presenting data without really providing anything substantive. Yes. But if you look at statistics and the way you're used for most stuff, like journalistic articles and gaming and politics and stuff, typically they're bullshit. So I'm not a massive fan of them. I talked very briefly about them in today's thingamajig that I did, my channel update. David's not on the list. PvP dead. Do you think the implementation of auto gimbals is an indicator CIG is looking to port Squadron 42 to consoles? I don't think that's necessarily an indicator, although I suppose it could be a little bit. It's more of an indicator that they want to support all gaming devices, from joysticks to HOTAS to gamepads, much more readily. They do need to do some extreme balance with auto gimbals once we have a solid flight model and solid combat. Happy Halloween, Osro. Thank you very much for the resub. Very much appreciated. So yeah, what was I talking about? Auto gimbals. But I would expect that if next-gen consoles can support Star Citizen, or Squadron 42 at least. Let's say, don't worry about Star Citizen at the moment. Squadron 42, I think, could have a console port in the future for next-gen consoles, like PlayStation 5 shit. Yeah, maybe. If they don't have to scale it back terribly or anything, if it's like, yeah, this supports what we want to do without having to make concessions, then potentially, yeah. Why isn't the Banu Tachyon Singe Cannon available at Dom's Depot anymore? So the Singe Cannons, they've removed the size 1 and the size 3. There's only the size 2 in game, and it can only be mounted on the Banu Defender. So you get them with the Banu Defender anyway, so they're basically not in game anymore to purchase. At the moment, anyway. Are you alright, Xylo? Done a little wave. Xylo, I'm 10 minutes behind the chat. Typically what I do anyway. And Heavy Bob's asked you to fix his Hornet. And remove auto. What else have we got? You monster. You're a monster, Heavy Bob. I think I've just become sort of like hardened to people being rude on the internet. I'll always respond to people as if I'm a customer service operative. But I see. Heavy Bob, you are a rude mother trucker. But I still love you. In the same way I love all my children. What else have we got here? In order to get the free Merlin, does my recruit have to use my referral code during this week? Or can he have used the code last year, but buy a package this week? So I believe that if you get a recruit referral point during this week, that is enough to get you your Merlin. That is what I believe, because I've got one on an account that I haven't used the referral code this week on. So, citation needed to some extent, but that is what I believe. That is what I have tested. Oh, a music. Where'd the music go? Yes, I would love to continue the music. Oh, Pedro, you have beautiful music. I know you're not in the chat at the moment, but I just wanted to tell you that you're beautiful. I think you're beautiful. What else have we got here? An Anvil Corvette, similar to the Polaris, but needs less crew, and its primary weapons being beam or railguns. Would you be in favour of such a ship? I'm in favour of more ships. Like, in 10 years' time, I want more ships than Eve has in Star Citizen, with a huge amount of modularity and a huge amount of equipment. In Eve, I love outfitting ships, and I want to be able to bring that love into Star Citizen, if possible. What do you think happened to the announced PvP combat team that was announced? I think they got disintegrated by a laser. So I think they've got changing priorities for a lot of stuff. I suspect they're getting people to look at Squadron 42 as a focus, and then you've got the PU guys, and you've got some of them looking at Star Marine and Arena Commander at the moment, for sure. So I think part of that is that they have QA and probably guys looking at PvP combat. However, because of the constant change from patch to patch, the PvP combat hasn't been that high a priority. It should have been to an extent, yes, but it hasn't been that high of a priority compared to just, getting more and more of the game out. So when they get to a stage where they're going, actually, Squadron 42's close to release, this is the combat model, this is the flight model, they can balance that significantly better in game, and then it's worth them looking at it. However, with the staggered development model, I'd also expect, in a juxtaposed fashion, that 3.8 will have a bit more balance to it, and a bit more forethought in going into PvP and PvE and general playability. So I will be, when I look at 3.8 in the future, I will be critiquing it slightly more based on its expectation of being more playable. Do you think all the Inside Star Citizens will be watered down until after CitizenCon? I think they'll... Watered down is probably a reasonably good description of how I'd expect to see them as well. So, yeah, a couple of cool features and things like that for the next 3 weeks. I suspect there's some other stuff they can show us, but yes, there's a lot they're obviously saving for CitizenCon. I think Jared said he was dancing between the raindrops with Inside Star Citizen. I'm very much looking forward to Star Citizen Live this week, though, because they were apparently talking about early stage concept ships, so that's interesting to me. And Star Citizen Live, Inside Star Citizen today, they are talking about close combat in the first time in quite a while, so I'm hoping to see that. When do you expect to see more 5 crime stat missions that are not delivery missions? So I'm expecting to see a load more missions than 3.8. It makes sense that they're going to do that. They're expanding the gameplay area. There's obviously a need for more missions and a harder scale of missions. So not necessarily 5 crime stat missions, but more generally the harder missions that are suitable for sharing, rather than just we're sharing the reward, but we might as well just do 2 separate missions simultaneously to make more money. So they need the higher scale of missions, the higher money making missions. I'm very excited for the Carrack Casual Camel. When do you think the Pioneer will come out? A while yet, would be my expectation. I think we'll see land claim gameplay before we see the Pioneer. It's quite a long time before, in my opinion. I think at the end of 2018, they actually wanted to have land game claim gameplay in game to some extent. But obviously they rescheduled a load of stuff. If you have 2 accounts, are they linked in any way? Thinking of getting another account benefits. They're not linked. No. You can have 2 accounts separately, but you can obviously, in the future, you'll be able to use them both. They're as linked as you want them to be as linked. Do you see what I mean? Do you think the Hawk is overpowered with having 6 auto-aim gimbals with the inclusion of size 1 gimbals for size 1 guns? I suppose a lot of size 1 weapons auto gimbal is pretty powerful at the moment. OP at the moment is not necessarily OP for very long. Are there any additional info on when dynamic economy is planned for implementation? So expect to see it more and more each patch. I can give you a bit of a breakdown and explanation of when I think we'll see certain bits. So subsumption, dynamic mission system, general economy updates, dynamic economy, all kind of heavily part of the same parcel. So in 3.9 we've got the lots and lots of dynamic mission system stuff, which is going to be based on the economy, based on what's happening in the game verse, and sort of like the gameplay area. Missions will be generated more appropriately for that. There's obviously a load of economy-based things that are coming there as well. An accounting app which may allow you to transfer money between players. Commodity transfer timers. So when you're buying and selling commodities on your ships, there's going to be a time to transfer that amount of cargo based on how much you've got. They're going to have up-to-date economy display terminals that will show you economic data. So they are doing stuff like that from Q1 of next year, so end of March next year. That's the sort of stuff we're going to start to see then, and then they're building more and more on that. So next year, hopefully a lot more cool mission stuff and economy stuff. I don't think we're seeing much of that. Probably a little tiny balance in 3.8, some new stuff for sale, but 3.9 seems to be when it starts. Hull B, question mark? David Stockton. So expect to see the Hull C first, and then we'll start to see the Hull A and B probably pretty soon after that, within a quarter or two is what I would expect. The Hull C is taking more time because there's morphing physics grids and stuff like this, which it causes lots of problems when they expand a contract. What do you know about when Alpha UBC persistence will come out? We don't know anything for sure. CIG have been working on decoupling full persistence, partial persistence from server-side object container streaming and parts of that. And they've talked about it a few times, that they want Alpha UBC and Alpha UBC purchase persistence between major patches. So the idea is that in the near future, potentially with 3.8, Alpha UBC and Alpha UBC purchases will be saved between those patches. So from 3.8 to 3.9. But we don't know for sure. That's not a confirmation. That is just what it looks like might happen. That's what they're pushing towards as quickly as they can. Hey BoredGamer, I've been following your vids and development of Star Citizen. Had a little go on this free time, and I'm so far super disappointed. Maybe I'm just doing things wrong. I couldn't even do a delivery contract because the box apparently can't go into the cargo bay hold of the ship. Add an open cargo option and everything kind of ruined it for me. Is there something new players can do to get into game? I got super lost with any sort of aim or purpose very quickly. I want to enjoy it. I completely agree with you, Shoppy Games. So there are some things that Star Citizen does not do. And currently, there is no form of in-game tutorial or explanation or aim or goal. You have to either be taken by the hand by another player and explained to you what you're doing and how it works, or do research before you start playing. So there's like tutorial videos and stuff like me and loads of other content creators create. There's some official Star Citizen ones, and there's also stuff on the Reddit you can find as like a checklist of new explorers, things to do in the verse, which will give you goals and show you what's available. But Star Citizen, if you just jump into the game, you don't know what to do, you don't know the controls, it doesn't show you them, you have no idea what's available and what you can do. They need to address that. And when there's a load more gameplay loops in the game, there needs to be entry-level missions that show you how those gameplay loops work and what the end and start and end goals of all those things can be. So yes, totally agree with you. It's a devastating nightmare to new players that haven't done a reasonable amount of research beforehand because there's nothing in-game to take you by the hand or to show you what to do. You think, but as I said, just do a bit of research. I mean, not that you should have to. I'm not saying that's your fault for not doing research, but I'm saying that's just the Star Citizen experience at the moment. So you need to check it out on YouTube. You need to check it out on other places. Have a look at a tutorial. Have a look at what's available in the game. On the website, it typically shows you what the new things are in the patch rather than all the stuff that you can do. Do you think there will ever be stations? There are stations. If so, how will they be distributed? Limited slots with a new one every 3 months that is auctioned off at a place that the devs decide beforehand? What? I'm confused. There are space stations in the game. Do you mean like player built and owned space stations? I think that might be something they have in the future. One of the original stretch goals in the funding goals thing was to have player managed space stations. So I think there probably will be some of that in the future. Not sure when that will be coming in game. It's a sort of, there's a load of stuff that you can say, do you think they'll have that? And most of the answers for it will be yes, at some time in the next 15 years. What would you like to see for this new gameplay mode? I'm hoping that we're able to have a boarding party mode onto a large ship and try and take over. Yeah, I think sort of like an Idris assault or just even a large ship assault of any description. FPS ships and FPS sort of crossover would be absolutely amazing. Combined arms, just vehicles, and FPS Star Marine stuff would be awesome. A Saddle Ball would be awesome. Even Battle Royale would be fun. I mean, it would make everyone go mad and angry, but it would probably still be fun, and I'm a monster. What do we know about the Pisces and the Kraken? So there was some leaks that suggested that the Pisces and Kraken very heavily would be shown at CitizenCon. The Pisces is a snub for the Kraken, scout-focused. It looks like the Kraken's Carrack, not Kraken. Apologies. Carrack is what I'm talking about, not the Kraken. And the Carrack is a exploration ship. We've seen some of it. It's 125 meters long. The Carrack has got drones and stuff like that, so I wouldn't expect the drones to be available when the ship's flyable. The Carrack looks like it's coming out with 3.8, although it potentially could come out, someone has suggested, at CitizenCon along with the Pisces. Hey Board, just wanted to tell you that you're doing a great job with your vids. I enjoy the way you deliver us the infos in a compact format. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for watching. Have doubts that you can balance something that provides more sustained damage over other players. At the moment we see more ships being balanced around auto-aim, which is resulting in the ships like the Defender and the Warden being extremely tanky. That might be true, but I suspect that a lot of this stuff is very short-term. And if that's not what you want to hear, you're like, well, it should be balanced now. Okay. I think that it will be balanced in the future. And I think that at the moment, any balance they do beyond a certain level is academic. So yes, I want 3.8 and even now to be as balanced as it can be, but I don't want them to spend huge amounts of time on balance yet. Have you heard anything about when they plan on addressing the shield regen on the Hammerhead and the Caterpillar? Nope. I would expect, as I said, 3.8 to be significantly more playable and have a lot of those bugs and sort of like some of those balance issues more refined. I believe when they were doing the 3.7.1 hotfix patch, they also did say that they wanted to do a 3.7.2. So that probably is the same still, maybe. Larkfest, thank you very much, or Larkfeast. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Jaden Cattrall, 24 months, 2 years of watching me and subbing to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. I love you. You're a good chap. What is with the HOTAS that SIG and Logitech planned? Is that going forward? So it wasn't with Logitech originally. So the idea was that CIG were looking for a HOTAS joystick and some other peripherals specifically for Star Citizen. They had various companies and talks with them. They went with Mad Catz in the end. Mad Catz got bought by Logitech, and the contract therefore was sort of like left in limbo, as far as I understand it. And then I think Sandy, the last I heard on it, was that they were looking at that again when they had Squadron 42 out or something. That was a long time ago. So we don't know what's happening with the Star Citizen HOTAS at the moment. I'm glad that Mad Catz did not make it. Okay, I'm not a fan of Mad Catz. I do think they made cheaper products, although obviously if you paying enough money or ask them to make a high quality product, they probably could at the time, but they've been bought by Logitech, so Logitech want to make them fucking great. I just recently got Star Citizen board, new player, and I'm loving it, wondering if there's any way to save your location on a planet so you can return to that location later. No, there's no way of saving locational information yet. You can land your ship and sleep in your bed, if your ship's got a bed, and then when you log out from there, and when you log back in, you should be in that bed. But at the moment, there's no way of saving locational data and then traveling back to that exact point yet. But obviously, that's an important part of Star Citizen in the future that they need to address. Do the highlighted messages look ugly, do they? I haven't got used to the new stuff yet that's been put in there. Just like cars get new models under the same name, do you think CIG will ever implement new models under the same name? For instance, would they release Mark II versions of ships, you're saying? So they've talked about that in the few, they said potentially they might have Mark IIs of certain ships in the future, which are the newer model of that ship. Effectively, they're a different hull, though, and the original would still be in game. So I think that's a possibility, although we'd have to wait and see if that's actually what they want to do. Board, you've just been added to the director of the Persistent Universe Development Team. What would you change or focus on as the director for Star Citizen? Making ships and money. I don't know. I'm not appropriate to run their project for them. What the fuck do I know? I can only talk about reports on news and then talk about my sort of understanding from my point of view. I'm setting on a mouthpiece for the community to understand what the community want. So I'd want to focus really on making sure that Squadron 42 is coming out, give a release date for that, and then focus development of Star Citizen's Persistent Universe around that. What I'd actually do, if I was in charge, I would give a full roadmap to completion. Doesn't need to have a full dates on it. It has to have the priorities, every feature listed out, show that on the roadmap. So we have up to 4.1, 4.0 on the roadmap with features that we want in there. And then all other features sort of in a very rough priority. We're not sure where they're going to land yet. But these are all the features that we currently have planned for completion. Bam, then that's feature complete. And yeah, we'll add more after that. But this is feature complete. This is getting us into beta. Yeah? That's what I'd have. And then you can add more and you can break them down later as you go on. But I'd love to see that. A roadmap to completion. Oh, because we've got that with Squadron 42. We don't have that for Star Citizen. So that's my honest opinion on that. Oh, thank you very much for the love. Very much appreciated. Premier Boris. Why have they announced and even shown so much progress on hand-to-hand combat but still have it labelled as scheduled on the roadmap? Do you think we'll get a preview at CitizenCon? Yes, I do think we'll see a preview at CitizenCon. That's not a confirmation either, though. I think some of the stuff doesn't get updated properly on the roadmap. I wish they gave a little bit more information on each of the features on the roadmap. And as I said, the roadmap is something that I want a bit more detailed and have a more of the features and even more of a breakdown of those features. It should be someone's job, in my opinion, one person's job, to run around, find out what's going on, be in a load of the meetings, and update the roadmap with extra information, a bit more fluff, get a bit more detail on each of those components. I mean, I don't even necessarily need to see if it's 22 out of 57 features completed, of tasks completed for a feature. I just want to know sort of like what's been done for it, very briefly maybe. I'm hoping that the Carrack isn't disappointing at all. Like, the Carrack is one of my favourite ships on paper in the game. I love the idea of it. Very safe answer, board. I'm not sure what answer you're referring to, but I can only be represent my own views and bluntness. Do you think we'll see anything on the RSI Black Widow at CitizenCon? We really need that one heavy fighter. Yeah, so for people that don't know, there's some lore in game about the RSI Black Widow. It was one of the ships. Was it competing with the Saber as well, or was it competing with the Lightning? Might have been competing with the Lightning to be a heavy fighter, and it didn't win, but it should still exist in the game at some point. Is what we're expecting. Is there a statue of Gorman at Levski? Oh my god. Let's not get political. I'm avoiding politics until after Brexit's done, so forever. Can you make a bookmark like in Eve? No, you can't yet, but hopefully in the future you will be able to bookmark locations, to travel to them, sell locational information. There needs to be ways of being able to traverse and navigate planets, share that data with other people, all that sort of stuff. I'm an idiot, so with that in mind, how does a backer get access to the free flyable ships this weekend? Or this week, in fact. So if you go to the Star Citizen website after you've made an account, try to make an account with someone's referral code if you can, whether that's the Reddit referral one or boardgamer.co.uk/enlist, or your friend's referral code. And then you want to go to this website. Oh. This website. Bam. I've just lost all of my chat information from the last 10 minutes. So feel free to ask your questions again if they haven't been answered. Apologies for that. I haven't actually lost it all. It's just in about 12 other screens. So I'll... Oh my god. Okay, no, that's fine. We'll go through it. But if you go there, I'll show you on the screen as well. So you go to the FreeFly page after you've made an account, and then you literally copy this code down towards the bottom and put it into the into your FreeFly code in there, get into the verse, and then bam, apply it. Then you have access to the ships. Hope that made it clearer for you. Right, let's go up here. I love Star Citizen. I get bored very quickly and very easily and burn myself out in a lot of games. Star Citizen is the first game that has not happened in. What else we got here? Thank you so much for the money people chucking at me. Sorry, the moderator's actually not too bad today. That's good. So I've got an auto mod that I've been tweaking so that it's less aggressive in removing words. Now that we have the Defender, still no words on the special interaction between the Banu Merchantman and the Defender. Now, they've sort of like hinted that the Banu Defender and the Merchantman have a specific type of interaction they can do with each other, and that some people have potentially already guessed it. So bear that in mind. I'm expecting that it's sort of like light docking capabilities, so that the Defender can sort of like land in or around or next to the Banu Merchantman and share its quantum bubble, so effectively share its quantum fuel, maybe get some light repair, rearm, and refuel, something like that. When will NPC crews be ready? They're building AI tech out still, so I think we all want NPC crews as soon as possible, and NPCs in missions and that sort of stuff, but they are still building out the AI currently. With a hopefully new system coming in the not-too-distant future, I would like to see locations that accept more quantities of Vice to make Vice runs more viable. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I want greater risk and reward. I want stuff for outlaws and lawful players to do. I want more difficult missions. I want more commodities. I want trade routes that are dynamic and last for a good while, and then our hotspots to be interdicted on. There's a huge amount of stuff that I want. Yeah. I'd like to see the Vice gameplay and places like Jump Town become viable and hotspots again. That makes sense to me too. You mentioned before that CIG have confirmed nuclear weapons do exist in game. They exist in lore, at the very least. Do you have any idea if players will be able to acquire them anyway? I have no idea about that, no. Board, what are your thoughts on the new R&R interiors in 3.8? So they showed off the food courts, and there's some more complex procedural generation interiors and extra bits, and shops and brands and that sort of stuff for the marrying of the externals of the rest stops that we have, the really cool looking space stations with new interiors and internals. And I'm very excited for them for 3.8. They represent to me additional points of interest that they're building for cargo stations, for the replacement of Port Olisar, for general points of interest in the future, for missions and potential, in the future maybe, player space stations, other points of interest. Any ideas on today's Inside Star Citizen? We know they're showing forced reactions and close combat stuff, and then things we've seen, which I'm not sure what is. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll have to see later on. Some games allow you to log in and play as enemy NPCs. Do you think this would be a fun way to maybe earn UEC or just mix up the game? I expect to see someone, if we have modding in the future, I would expect someone to mod that into the game. But I don't think it's going to be part of Star Citizen in any way, shape, or form for the persistent universe.
Star Citizen channel out there.
Oh, thank you very much, Tiam. T-I-M. Thank you very much for the money. I love you. I love money, and I love you. Yeah, Larkfest, or Larkfeast again. NPC crews, I don't know when they're going to be ready. I would expect after Squadron 42's release, because they need to get the AI sort of locked down. Although if you sort of like steal an NPC hammerhead, there are AI in the turrets, and they do aim at your targets and fire at them. So at least they did when I messed around with it. Do you think we'll ever be able to log in and out at rest stops? Yes, I think that will be a feature in the future. I think there'll be more public habs there. What is the situation? Well, and I think eventually there'll be, when there's full persistence, you can probably log out much more readily in lots of places. What is the situation with hauling mechanics? I wonder if there's any way of getting a Drake Caterpillar, renting it, or pledging one was available a few versions back. Most ships will be available again at the Anniversary Expo and CitizenCon starting the 23rd of November. You can buy a Caterpillar in-game. I don't think you can rent one in-game yet, but I would expect them to be rentable in the future. Do you have an expectation of how many people will show up at Lord Board's pre-Bar Citizen at La Brewery? At Brewdog? No, it's a chill throughout the day. Load of content creators coming down, and anyone's more than welcome. We're then going, at 6 PM, we're going to Impossible for the official CitizenCon pre-party. What is that thing you can hear when you are near the ship retrieval consoles at Port Olisar? So at the moment there is some transmissions coming through at various places in the game, but the ASOP terminals in Port Olisar are the ones that people would probably notice the most. It's the same transmission, as far as I'm aware, and it says attention, people of Stanton, and then lots of static and stuff. And so it's some sort of thing either happening in lore or part of a mission or part of a game or something. We don't know. It's something interesting though. People are thinking maybe it's part of a mission. People are thinking maybe it's a teaser.
Thanks for all the info you bring. Have a pint at CitizenCon on me.
Oh, Andrew Hickenbottom, thank you very much. What a beautiful name as well. Hickenbottom is a lovely name. Thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. I will have a pint on you. It's a shame that a lot of people are unable to come to CitizenCon. Like, I'd like to meet a lot of people. I'm sure I will. It's just, one day. One day! What is the... So, yeah, we don't know what it is, but it's some cool in-gamey lore thing, and with people trying to work it out still. What's the best planet to ship mine now in 3.7? Did the nodes change? I go to Daymar regularly, but it might not be the best. How dare he live stream when I was busy? Brr. Fantastic. The roadmap shows scheduled for Annunciator panels, but we saw them in the last week's Inside Star Citizen. Yeah, so some of the stuff that they show on the roadmap is not updated correctly. That's what it is. It's probably because they're super busy on CitizenCon stuff, and maybe the person that updates that or the way it pulls data is broken. The person's probably not broken, but maybe they're busy. There's lots of possibilities there. So a lot of stuff that's being finished and completed, and even extra features are not shown on the roadmap. Do you think? Do you have any idea why the Taurus got taken off the roadmap? I don't know. I would have thought it was just a very simple thing to have a turret removed and to make it more of a cargo variant one. Maybe it's getting a bit more of a rework. Maybe there's a bit more going on with the Taurus. Maybe it's going to be released sort of like with 3.8 or at CitizenCon or something like that. But I don't know. I think it's odd though that it just suddenly got removed from the roadmap and it still isn't in game yet. How do you think cap ship combat will be in the future? Battlestar Galactica style of or Star Trek style? Oh, okay. Battlestar Galactica style or Star Trek style. Okay. It's not going to be full flak. I think it's going to be Wing Commander style. I mean, it's going to be depending on the ships as well. Some ships are super agile and some are just chucking stuff at each other. I don't think either style is accurate for what Star Citizen is going to be. Because there are shields, so that's Star Trekky, and there are big weapons and things that can do huge damage to capital ships, which is more Battlestar Galactica. But I don't think we have huge flak fields. Although I do think there are going to be turrets that will be point defense effectively with AI controlling them, and I think that the hammerheads and stuff will be reasonably good at flak cover effectively, or anti-missile, anti-bomber sort of cover. Do you get the free referral Merlin if the person doesn't buy a package? I believe they just have to spend $40 on their account within the next, well, within this week. That's what I believe the referral to get the free Merlin is. You don't even need to have signed up this week. They just need to have spent the $40 on their account this week. Yeah? I think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure. Do you think big orgs will be able to make bases with turrets and all kinds? Yes, I do think there's going to be ground defenses. I think there's going to be outposts. I do think they'll be able to place turrets and stuff like that. Yes. Do you ever fear that focus on flashy features will overshadow proper balance in the game? Yes, I think that's a reasonable fear to have. Maybe not fear. It'd be odd to be afraid of that. But maybe as something we should watch for, and something that we should keep CIG honest for. What is the situation with Hauling Mechanic? I wonder if there's any way of getting a Drake Caterpillar, renting it, or pledge one. Was available a few versions back. As I said, earlier. Do you think with NPC healing and the Cutlass Red being released in the near future, do you think the med beds will start working? I'm hoping. My hope is that short term they'll just go, your teammates can spawn there every few minutes or so. That would make me happy. Because then you'd have to destroy the ship, wouldn't you? So as long as the ship isn't destroyed, you keep spawning there. So yeah, I'd actually quite like that. Is there any way to get a discount if I want to buy the Caterpillar? So if you buy a discounted starter package, you can then upgrade it with the CCU system when the Caterpillar is available, which I'm expecting to be available on the 23rd of November if it isn't already available. Considering the leaps that CIG are making with the virtual verse... I don't know why I said verse like that. Do you get the increasing feeling that our own real-life existence is a simulation with the real Chris Roberts being God? No. But, I mean, the simulation idea from scientists that's actually IRL has some merits to it. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Love is a mixture of biological sort of like... need to reproduce and procreate. A lot of chemicals going on in the brain, mixed with societal pressure and a fear of being alone. Yes. What do you want from me? Yes, there's going to be Vulcan integration with Star Citizen at some point. Looking at that. Seriously, who cares about a food court? Well, I mean, they need to have more and more areas and assets, and there's going to be a player status system, and food's going to be important, and drink going to be important to some degree in the game. Board, could you inquire about multiplayer ownership of a single ship while at CitizenCon? I think you're going to be able to share your ships with particular people. So there's going to be like permission states for ships in the future. I think that's what they said they were going to do a while ago. So you'd have to give permission for people to use your ship fully. But I can ask more about it at CitizenCon. That's a good shout. Clint, if you can chuck that in my Discord or email it to me, I'll happily do that. What are your opinion of the Merchantman? Also, do you think it will be released anytime soon? I mean, now that the Defender's done, they've got a gold standard ship for the Banu race. I think the earliest you'd see the Merchantman would be CitizenCon next year, at the earliest. What else have we got here? Do you think we'll see NPC crew stuff at CitizenCon? I mean, we might, but I would expect it to be scripted and effectively faked if it is. What's the status of the Crytek lawsuit? I think they're moving into discovery, although I suspect they're still both leveraging for a settlement. I would expect, if it doesn't get settled very soon, if it isn't already settled, because it could be, and we just don't know about it, that CIG would probably push to go through discovery and then push to be the prevailing party, because they'll just go, look, Crytek, give money. Because it looks like Crytek have got a very weak case, and it looks very likely that CIG would be the prevailing party at the moment, but we'd have to wait until discovery. Or until after discovery, I suppose. Hi, Board. Do you think Star Citizen can actually ever reach mainstream success in terms of player numbers? Yes. I mean, that's the dream. But not too mainstream, because then it gets ruined by other people. I hate people. It is certainly more of a niche game, but it could certainly have a lot of players. Eve's a very niche game that has a lot of players, or at least used to. I know you've been asked this a lot, but my friend who used my referral code bought an Avenger about 2 weeks ago. Will I get a Merlin? No. Has to be bought. You have to get the referral point this week. This game doesn't look like $290 billion. No, it doesn't look like $290 billion. But it will look a lot better in the future. You know, they need to get Squadron 42 out. They need to get the engine fully sorted. They need to get all of the sort of like high-level graphic stuff sorted, some Vulkan support and all that sort of thing, integration, and then polish all this stuff. How casual do you think this game will be? I think it will be reasonably... I think it will be work for casual players. But also, I mean, in the same way that you could see semi-casual on Eve. But there's obviously going to be a huge sort of like skill ceiling, and sort of like if you want to grind 18 hours a day, be my guest sort of thing. That's what I'm hoping for. Is there anything that you as a streamer would like CIG to do or integrate to make streaming the game more fun? Yeah, probably in the future. I mean, at the moment, I just want a more playable game that has more players on the servers. But in the future, if I thought about it, yes, there probably would be a lot. Do you think the Banu Merchantman will have one giant Banu Tachyon Singe cannon? I think it might have two large cannons on the side. That's what its sort of like concept had. Can I post a PC part picker list for BoredGamer to judge? Go into my Discord. There's a channel for it there, or you can message me, contact at boredgamer.co.uk, or PM me if you want me to have a look at something separately. Hey, Bob, do you think we're going to see the exchange and sale of information through the Herald or the Star Runner at CitizenCon? Probably not. Although it would be amazing if they go... Oh, wouldn't that be good? If they went, oh, we've been working on these new systems. We've got Pyro, we've got exploration, and we've also been working on navigation and saving locational data. If that is something they show at CitizenCon, if they go, it's going to be in the game soon, being able to save locations and travel to them, and more points of interest and more exploration, that would be dreamy. Thinking of snagging a Saber Raven code, so I have both of the promo ships, but I heard that they may release those ships for sale. You think that would ever happen? I don't think it would. I mean, you'll be able to get it in game some way. The Saber Raven in the future would be my expectation, even if you buy them off another player. So it's up to you. I'm asking you this considering the clues I've seen for the implementation of Crusader in 4.0, and with it ships that would follow, but also with piracy, which could use this mechanism. I don't think they will show poop in toilets, no. I think they will flush as you're pooping. They might have the sound of you weeing, though. Yeah, I think we need in-game markers and being able to save locations 100%. I don't want to have to try and find out where, like, Jump Town is and travel to it every time. Like, I want to be able to quantum travel to it once I found it once. You want to make me smaller in OBS? How dare you? Yeah, I can make my... Is that smaller? That smaller? That smaller? Yeah? How dare you? How many former Crytek and CryEngine peeps are working for Star Citizen? I know a lot of the German studio, the Frankfurt studio, is former Crytek employees. I think Brian Chambers brought them along, I think. Is space really the final frontier, or would you argue that other dimensions would be? It depends on how quickly technology advances, doesn't it? So if we're able to, before we're able to explore the whole of space, which is massive, able to travel to other dimensions, then it might be space is still the final frontier, or it might be that other dimensions are the final frontier. Or if we haven't bothered to actually explore the sea on our own planet, maybe the sea will be the final frontier. It's all a question of when. Which celebrity would you like to see at CitizenCon? Mark Hamill, Lam Nilsson, Peter Capaccio. I mean, the most likely celebrity you'd see is Peter Capaldi at like the British CitizenCon. I'd love to see Mark Hamill. People being angry at him for politics aside, I like Mark Hamill, so. If you had to rock a manufacturer jacket IRL, what would it be? I don't know who my favourite manufacturer is at the moment. I love Drake. I love Aegis. I like everything. I want them all. How many players do you think will be able to play on the same server eventually? So the idea is to get as many players in as possible, and potentially everyone that plays the game. I mean, they might have to artificially restrict players' access to certain areas, but with dynamic server meshing, the potential is that they could have everyone in the same gameplay shard effectively. When do you think we'll see the first iteration of NPC Cruise and Star Citizen? After Squadron 42 is released, maybe a couple of quarters after that. Maybe we'll see like AI module turrets. They haven't really talked too much about that. They are building out the AI still, so it's a lot of speculation on my point. When is the Mercury Star What's It coming out? Star Runner. We don't know. The Hercules Starlifter is planned for 4.0. Originally, they had said that the Star Runner was going to come out before that. So, like, well, we expected the Star Runner to be before. But it might be that they've rescheduled it. So the Hercules is the sort of like the Hercules is the first Crusader ship of that line that gets done. That's possible. It might be that the Star Runner is coming out before, and we just don't know. Maybe it's coming out at CitizenCon. Maybe it's coming out in 3.8 or 3.9. We don't know for sure. You think they could release a second system in the PE for 3.8? I mean, it's a long shot. It's possible if they have server-side object container string sort of done and creative use of that. What kind of ships do you think we'll see at CitizenCon? I mean, it's a huge range of possibilities. I think we'll see a big anvil ship. I think we'll see the Carrack and the Pisces. I think we'll probably see an alien ship. And then maybe a couple of others of concepts as well, or straight to flyables. Do you think Microtech will be closer to Lorville or Levski in terms of scale? Good point. The version 1 closer to Levski, the version 2 closer to Lorville. Is Liam Neeson in Squadron 42? No, he's not. Not as far as I'm aware. Sorry, I think people are taking the piss. Thinking how they procedurally generated food, will they procedurally generate poop? I think the procedurally generated food thing was a bit of a joke. I think they're effectively, I suppose food is sort of procedurally generated when they put it on the plate from a canteen or whatever. Maybe if you want to take it down that route. But I don't think poop will be. They've got ranted dung. Bored. When do you think we'll see the next big jump in performance? Even a minimum of 60 FPS on 1080 Ti would be good. I mean, I get that. I mean, sometimes it dips below to like 40, admittedly, in a couple of areas, but a lot of the time I get above 70 frames now. But I've got a 2080 Ti, so. Next big jump in performance. I mean, server-side object container streaming might see some more performance, although that's not its goal. Server efficiency is its goal. Vulkan integration could, more optimizations could, server meshing could. What kind of ship do you think we'll see? Oh, we've talked about that. They are adding proper beam weapons, proper continuous beam weapons, yes. Are there plans to have the NPCs procedurally generated? Sea of Thieves. So they sort of. So they are going to be generated procedurally from a simulation. So from probability volumes that will work out what type of NPC you're supposed to see in a certain area and how likely you are to sort of like fight them, interact with them, see them in an area, whatever. And then the NPCs will be generated and physicalized based on that. Do you think that people, if you want to learn more about NPCs and the economy and how everything's going to be generated, probably in the future, look at last year with Tony Zerovic talking about it in, can't remember the name of the panel, but it's Tony Zerovic and the 2948 CitizenCon. Do you think that people who use the term alternate dimension actually mean alternative plane of existence? Dimension is more of a characteristic. Yes, they mean a different plane of existence. They do. Top 10 predictions for CitizenCon. We'll see the Pyro system, we'll see the Carrack and the Pisces, we'll see a couple of new missions, maybe a new planet and a new landing zone, we'll see Microtech, we'll have various new ships go on concept cell and straight to flyable, including a large anvil ship. On that, I don't know for sure. Squadron 42 release date. I expect to see more Squadron 42 stuff. Squadron 42 release date, maybe a Squadron 42 vertical slice or new trailer. Start of this sort of like marketing campaign for Squadron 42. I'd like to see the Idris or Javelin Cowder ship battle as well. That'd be awesome. With the Idris and Javelin nearing completion, how soon after Squadron 42 release do you think we'll get until those bad boys are in the Persistent universe? I think that we could get it the quarter afterwards. That would be my expectation for big ships like that. Because they're not so big that the servers will implode. But they are big, and we should have enough optimizations by then to be able to support them. What's your favourite kind of curry? Probably katsu. I like my Japanese food. With heavy weather on Microtech, will they have basic hangars in the ground in New Babbage like Lorville? Yeah, probably. I don't actually know how the hangar system's going to work. I know they've got like the tube trains So I expect a centralized landing hub. Will character progress be measured in the accumulation of wealth, ships, and equipment rather than levels or skill points? No levels or skill points for players, although effectively NPCs will kind of have skill points, but your character will not. It is down to you. So yes, you can measure your progress in reputation, wealth, ships, and equipment. And general assets. What do you think are the best size 3 weapons? Oh, I don't really know. Meta's not my strongest point either. There's probably someone that knows in chat that it's definitely these. Is there a plan to make fine payment system to clear crime stat? So I believe that fine payments are separate to crime stat. There's going to be fine kiosks in some of the major landing zones in the game, which you will, if you accrue fines, you'll need to go and pay them off. If you don't pay them off in time, you'll get more fines. And if you don't pay them off in time again, then I believe you get a crime stat. So they are basically separate. Space radios, yes or no? I'm hoping so. I'd love to hear music in the verse. They're going to have the into text to tech as well to be able to stream other things. We've got VoIP and FOIP, so give me more. Give me music. Give me more interaction with the verse. Any chance we will see some of Nyx at CitizenCon as well as Pyro? Yes, there's certainly a chance. I mean, they could potentially go all the way to the Odin system, for all we know. Premium subscription worth it? I don't think so at the moment. If you want to read jump points and get some of the other cool little perks, and the normal subscription's worth it. Premium subscription's a bit too much, in my opinion. If there's some of the perks that you desperately want, maybe it's worth it for you. It does allow you to try more ships, basically, with every major patch. Up to you, and it's worth different amounts to different people, effectively, isn't it? Can we get the devs to host a stream like this and answer all the questions? They used to do this, which is why I do it now. I'm not a dev, but I do collate as much of the information about Star Citizen as I can. It is my full-time job, effectively. So, there's a lot of call for doing this. CitizenCon Flyball F8 Sea Lightning. I wouldn't expect so until CitizenCon's out. Love your face board. Would you consider being a sponsor for an in-game competition? I'd like to organise a competition this FreeFly with a starter pack as the grand prize. Email you the details. Yeah, contact at BoredGamer.co.uk. Feel free to email me. I'm super busy at the moment, but I'll try and respond to you today, DS, if I can. And we can talk about it quickly. What I'm going to do is after this stream, so when I go in a minute, I need to cut 2 videos together for mine and Salty Mike's exploits. And get a new outro recorded so that I can quickly tomorrow morning or this evening also get out a video for Inside Star Citizen Breakdown. Persistent progress possibilities. Oh, that's some beautiful alliteration. Yeah, so I think that it's possible that CIG are trying to push for persistent progress for Alpha UBC and Alpha UC purchases for 3.8. Well, thank you very much for all the love. I do appreciate people chucking money at me and saying they like what I do, and I get a lot of support from people. So thank you very much. It's very much appreciated. Do you think the high octane game mode is referring to the refueling mechanic? No, high octane game mode is referring to a game mode, and I would expect it to be action based, fast. I don't know. Destruction derby races. We've got them, I suppose. Lol. But yeah, maybe boarding action missions, maybe objective-based missions in like Star Marine or Arena Commander, something like that. Cargo speaking, is the C2 more ground transport and the CAT more space transport, or could you use the C2 in space as well? You could use the C2 in space as well. I see the C2 more as being more effective as a being able to land on planets more quickly and easily as well, though. So that's my sort of interpretation of it. But it can also be used as a space transport. I mean, they can also be used as ground transport. Or land on planets, I mean. If you're able to mix up the ship's looks, roles, abilities based off what you've flown, what would it be like? That question would take me far too long to unpack on a single stream. Feel free to email me that question and I will potentially make a video on it. Any idea when the salvage mechanics are coming out on the Vulture? So, I believe we have some of this information already. If Salvage is coming out in 4.0. Yeah, Salvage V1 4.0. When is the Vulture coming out, though? The Vulture is coming out in 3.9. That's currently where they're pegged. So, Q1 2020 for the Vulture. Q2 2020 for the Salvage. Currently. Air hockey when? I mean, you might be joking, but they might have air hockey in the game when we fucking know. And there's sort of like air hockey table we have seen on the Javelin, I think. What kind of sales are expected for the anniversary? Same as last year, price-wise? Maybe. I mean, they're putting the anniversary and CitizenCon together. So, and if they release a hard date for Squadron 42 and show off amazing stuff, it would probably be their best year for sales. What do you think of the Banu Defender shield regen rate? I want the shipped weapons to be able to hit their target properly. Would you date Sandy? No, she's a married woman, and I'm a potato. What a fucking question. You absolute monsters. What else have we got? Can Board ask the developers if they can scan you one day to get you in game? Yes, I want to be scanned in game. Scan me. Scan me. How much upload bandwidth are you working with to get multiple videos out a day? Some? Honey? I got the most expensive package I get from my internet company. That's all I've got. I don't know. Would love to see some videos about best outfitting possible for starships and beyond. Thoughts? Okay, so the problem with that is that as soon as you start outfitting a starter ship, you might as well be saving to rent a better ship. That is my honest opinion. The best outfitting you could do for a starter ship is rent an Avenger Titan or a Prospector or whatever. So I quickly chuck a couple of weapons on a starter ship, use it to grow missions, and then move on to the next ship pretty quick. Papa Board is so learned. Thank you, Andrew Hickeybottom Senpai. Hickenbottom. I love your name. Will player characters be able to own businesses that could become as large and powerful as in-game ones? I don't think the dynamic economy is going to support that so much, but there's certainly missions and other stuff that could expand, and we don't really know how the stuff's going to evolve from day one. I wouldn't expect that sort of stuff to be possible though, unless it's sort of like in a new patch they add it, or price changes in general. Do you think they make a real trade system instead of the current unit-based NPC trading system? I think we'll see trading, robust contracts. I think we'll see potential auction houses. I think we'll see a lot of way of trading and buying stuff. Dynamic economy scheduled. Any news? Dynamic mission system coming soon, and then expect more and more economy features around the same time, and then they'll push towards a dynamic economy. But I think we need more AI stuff, more of the social AI stuff, more of the subsumption stuff, a lot more. So they're building towards that. Do I think we're about to upload our own images like space banners and ship decals, etc.? We're going to have some degree of customization with paint jobs for ships. But I'm not sure to what extent customization will be possible. whether you were to put your org logo and stuff like that on, for example. With mining mechanics being out already, do you think they should move the Orion up on the priority list? I mean, it's fucking massive, that ship. If it's needed for Squadron 42, it will be high on the priority. If it's not, then it won't. I've been saying since 2013 that Squadron 42 will be released in 2020 and Star Citizen in 2022. Do you think this is realistic? I don't think Star Citizen released in 2022. I think it could be close to a beta state if we're really lucky. I mean, it could be fully persistent in 2022. Star Citizen. I think there's a possibility that Squadron 42 will be released in Q4 2020 or Q1 2021. You'd need to really define what you wanted as Star Citizen released in 2022 before I could say. What do I expect to be the big reveal at CitizenCon? New star system, Carrack, Pisces, Squadron 42, release date. Lots of stuff. There's no new news on the Star Runner note. Everyone likes a baked potato. Unfortunately, the marijuana is not legal in my country yet. Hopefully one day. Would probably help short term with my anxiety. Yes, we need board scanned in game. Want to be a good guy or a bad guy? Mission giver, store owner, AI, cart pilot. I don't know. Whatever they think my face is appropriate for. See, when I go to clubs or pubs or whatever, before I start talking, I'm quite a heavily built meathead, bald skinhead. So I think that's the thing I'm going to cause trouble. But as soon as I start talking, they immediately go, "Yeah, go in." But before that, like checking me out, checking my shoes. Oh, you right, mate? We don't know when the pioneers come in. What are your thoughts on adding in-game space bosses for communities to complete, like killing pirate warmongers that have huge fleets? I think there will be missions for that in the future, raids and stuff for that in the future. Yeah, I think one of the ideas with some of the dynamic mission system in the future as well is that if missions don't get completed or whatever, then a named pirate might appear there and get more and more powerful until they're dealt with. But I would expect to see incursions, big raids, that sort of stuff. Mouse and keyboard is my favourite setup, just for ease of access, being able to move between first-person shooting, desk space, control of my ship. I do enjoy HOTAS, the Virpil, Constellation Delta. Oh, Virpil do some great stuff. Their HOTAS is beautiful. Since there are already NPCs manning turrets and piloting ships, do you think CIG should make NPC crew available for us to hire soon? I don't think it's the same sort of tech. I mean, they're building that out. They need... at the moment, they're using sort of like more scripted-y Croatia, I think, AI to drive that, but I'm not sure. Yeah, put me in charge of a as a restaurant. I mean, like if this is the Merovingian. Oh, I should be like a Big Benny salesman. I'm shilling for Big Bennies. Oh my god. Any word on science mechanic, agriculture mechanic, medical mechanics? So there's some information. Medical mechanic wise, they're building the ability to jab other people and NPCs with medipens and stuff like that out. We know that they want to have farming in game. We know that there's going to be a huge amount to do with science mechanics, but they haven't really talked much about them. Expect to see more and more and more little bits of missions and mechanics and stuff that will then be in the future. You'll have loads of these little mechanics put together as the agriculture mechanics. So harvestables sort of is part of the agriculture mechanic, because you're going to be gathering stuff and you're going to be harvesting them in the future. With the Carrack coming out soon, what do you think will take its place as the most talked about ship? The Banu Merchantman. And then the Kraken. The A90 jump, or maybe the Polaris. People love the Polaris as well. And the A90 jump and the Idris are big, sure, but do you think we'll see far larger ships in the future? Yes. I mean, the Redemption Super Dreadnought is the biggest ship, isn't it? Maybe? Kingship's massive. 3 kilometers, I think. Yeah, so that's the Squadron 42 vertical slice from a couple of years ago. In the background, the current look of Squadron 42 should look significantly better. But yes, I am going to dash off for Din Dins because I am hungry and I'm also thirsty. Going to see who is around. So reason I was streaming today is because I'm away tomorrow for most of the day and most of Saturday. But I'll be back on Sunday, try and get a lot of stuff sorted, and then I'm away until Friday after that. So there'll be some disruption on my channel, but I'm planning to get a lot of work done. Thank you so much for chucking money at me and donating and joining me today and chatting with me and throwing bits at me and giving me lots of love. I am your beautiful potato. Let us see who else is online. Who is around? Let's go to Moist Noodle and give him some love. Right. Slash raid Moist Noodle. I go raid him. Thank you very much for watching me today. I appreciate it, guys. I really do. If you've got any questions you would like to give to developers at CitizenCon, I am going there as press this year. Hopefully that will allow me to get into some interesting areas and wreak havoc upon the fools. But also ask your questions, get some answers for some stuff, get cool exclusives. I'm very much looking forward to it. Right. Bam. Bam. Take care. Peace out. Love you loads, and I'll see you soon.